Hello there, this is Joshua, and today I'm going to be walking through a Far Cry 4 map that I created called Clandestine Crusade. It was created as an assignment for my Game Design 2 class, the primary requirement of which was that it include 3 different outposts, each of which is marked on the map and in the player's view with an objective marker. So, I'll be talking about more requirements of the assignment later on in the video, as they become relevant. But the first thing I want to draw attention to is the vantage point right at the start of the stage. So you can clearly see this first outpost and the buildings that make it up right from the start, as well as this zip line that leads you down to it. With the camera, if we want to, we can zoom in a little bit and we can see that there is at least one guard and a snow leopard in a cage. So that'll be important to remember once we get down there in a minute. You could also use the wingsuit to get over to this outpost, but the trees make that really risky. They'll just kill you if you crash into them. Kind of puts a damper on things. So, there are a few different ways to go about this outpost. But my favorite of them is release the leopard. The guards immediately freak out about it. Understandably so, because it pretty handily kills them. And that leaves us to deal with it. But a severely weakened leopard that can't sound an alarm is a better thing to deal with than 2 guys with machine guns that can. When the purpose is stealth, well, sometimes you just gotta go for the leopard. Go ahead and disable this alarm. Get rid of this objective marker. Now, obviously there are solutions that don't require use of the leopard. You could just walk up and shoot the guys. The leopard can stay in its cage and thus stay alive, though indefinitely contained, which is, well, still not the best option for it. But I wanted to provide the leopard as a relatively straightforward and simple solution to this first outpost. Not 100% reliable, and you do still have to deal with a recently uncaged leopard at the end, or a slightly mauled guard, but you get what you pay for in this case. I'm going to take a moment to walk through these buildings, the first of which is a little bar area. It has a couple of different options for seating arrangements and a few different options for beverages. And more importantly to us, a bundle of arrows on the shelf there. Convenient that they happen to be carrying arrows in an outpost where the guards only use guns. This next area it's a little sleeping area, has a bed, has some blankets, has a gun rack. You can guess what happened to those. And this last room is a recreation area with a stove, a plate to eat food from the stove off of, and a mattress to sit on while eating the food from the stove. There's also this storage area which has some books and some more ammo for us should we need it. Up here there isn't that much, but I do want to show one thing that significantly changed pretty early on in the creation of this stage. That is up here. This corner used to be the home to that snow leopard cage, but it was much more difficult to get to, and even if you did open the leopard cage, it would only kill the guy on the roof and then just sit around on the roof indefinitely. Of course, given my track record with saying that this is how animals consistently work, maybe at some point it would have jumped off the roof and performed an Irish jig just to show me that I'm wrong. But the cage over here is easily visible and, shootable from the player's first vantage point, which makes it a much more convenient solution to the level. So, we have a road here that'll connect us to this next outpost, as per the assignment description. There's another area over here, this more gently sloped mountain that can be used as a shortcut to the next outpost, but it's a much riskier shortcut. So we're just going to take the buggy down the road. We're going to turn on auto drive because I can't. And that will bring us up to this outpost. Gonna get out a little early. That's not the get out button. This is the get out button. And I just want to see the state of things first off. This outpost is a little bit dicey. Oh wow, that's actually a significant surprise. So, there's a tiger at this outpost. And the tiger, 9 times out of 10, kills at least 1, if not 2, of the guards here. The fact that all 3 of the guards are still alive kind of worries me, because I don't see a dead tiger anywhere. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Also, cursory check of this area. Remember this. This is going to be important. I'll explain it after we've dealt with this outpost. So, this one's a little bit more dangerous, simply because it's more open, the guards are a little more spread out, and we have a sniper up here on this rooftop. However, this sniper also has a fairly simple solution that I will see if I can get close enough to execute without being detected. If you're a player of many games, you probably could make the connection that red barrels are only used to contain the most volatile of substances. So that explosion pretty handily deals with that sniper. The difficulty now is in the continued approach. But with both of those guys behind that building,
Find the source of the danger and eliminate it. Okay. If you see him, shoot him. Kingman, he's going to pay. Over and over.
crud. Okay. So we've taken out that alarm before he could sound it, which is a good way to go about it. Also, he's standing perilously close to that propane tank. So, well, where did he go? Was that him that just went flying? That's kind of hilarious. Anyway, now that we've addressed the guards here, and I will readily admit, I'm pretty sure that's the first time that all 3 guards have survived. Again, leaves me a little concerned as to where the tiger is. But now that we've taken care of the guards here, though a little bit inelegantly since we did get detected, we can go around and take a look at the buildings in this outpost. So this one up here is actually meant to, well, for one thing, stage a really big explosion if you shoot that barrel, because there are 3 jars of explosives and another propane tank inside the building. Because what's an explosion if it's not over the top and hilarious? I also put this shelf full of pillows here, and the shelf full of pillows has a very important tactical purpose. the sniper would normally be standing out on this balcony. And if you choose to approach through this building, the pillows on the shelf would work to block your view of the sniper and thus make the shot a little more difficult. Add a minor bit of challenge there. There's also a table here. Downstairs, we have just some various odds and ends. This is probably another storage room. Some bags, some boxes, a tapestry, a carpet, and a water fountain. Because even guards need to stay hydrated. Oh yeah, a convenient option for these alarms is that you can shoot them to disable them, which is kind of nice and the only reason that we aren't being swarmed by reinforcements. Not gonna lie, still a little concerned about that tiger. But we carry on. So in this building is some sort of deranged laboratory. We have some animal parts here, a knife, a butter knife, so whatever operations they were doing must be really messed up, and just some other general lab equipment. Another propane tank here, because these guys are very haphazard about where they keep their explosives. This awning here is meant to function as a vehicle checkpoint, with a chair here to guard it. Could see that third guy was sitting in this chair, so driving the car directly into the outpost wouldn't have been the best solution. In an attempt to protect the guards from the tiger, I actually positioned two of them, well, the two of them that aren't the sniper, on these rooftops. They work their way down from it every time, but it was meant as a narrative thing to show that they just climbed wherever they could to try to get away from it. Hopefully this isn't just going to take us directly into the jaws of a tiger. The tiger starts out over in this area. So really there's no telling where it is at this point. But here we've got a fallen ladder that I figured would kind of indicate panic. You know, the guy climbed up here and kicked over the ladder just trying to get away from the tiger. The rest of this area is just a little garage. A vehicle for the player to use to get to the next outpost, and some tires and stuff. I do not trust this room as far as I could throw it, because I don't trust that the tiger's gone. Then this final room does not appear to have a tiger in it. The tigers do seem to be kind of heat-seeking. That was probably also evident from the leopard. So if it was in the area, it probably would have found me by now. Not that I would like that, but this is another sleeping quarters area. Has a hamper, some bookshelves, and some various other bags of miscellaneous supplies. So that about wraps up this outpost. I'm going to run back up here. And remember I told you to remember this little mud path? The lighting on it is meant to draw attention to it as you're coming down here. It's not necessarily the kind of thing that you'd be able to do anything about while you're approaching, since there's an outpost full of guards to deal with. But afterwards, should you remember it, we can head through this forest here. into the secret area in the map, which was another requirement. And the interesting thing about this is that the objective of an outpost map is to kill all of the guards. This had to be an optional side area, so I couldn't put any guards here. So instead, I put some of the world's most obnoxious and resilient animals. I have a rhino over there that I'm really hoping doesn't see me. They're normally passive, but I had a failed recording where one of them killed me. So, we're just gonna avoid it. We also have a bear up here. And the bear's another thing I don't trust as far as I could throw it. So, just want to kind of get rid of that as soon as possible. Normally, it just stands there growling angrily, being unable to descend stairs. But it takes a whole lot of arrows to get rid of. Like, seriously, that was 10 arrows. Fortunately, the use of those arrows opens up our inventory a little bit, potentially, for one of the main rewards here, which is these explosive arrows. Slightly fancier. Usually we only get a couple of them because we can only hold 25. This area as a whole is an abandoned airstrip, once used to ship in and out various animals. See, there's a honey badger scuttling around down there, and I do not want anything to do with it. But at this point, it's been long since abandoned, and the animals have kind of overrun the place. However, what we can do is snag this little helicopter here and take to the sky to get back to where we need to be. You'd think that this helicopter would kind of defeat the purpose of the level a little bit, but given that it's a stealth level, the helicopter doesn't really do you many favors. Doing a scan of this area to see if the tiger's over here. I'm not seeing it. So, down here we can get a kind of aerial view of this last outpost. We don't get a look at any of the guards, though it does seem like one of them is making a bit of an ascent, so hopefully that won't cause any problems. We're just gonna set down our little helicopter friend. Actually, we'll take it over this way and use it to get down here. This giant rock can act as decent cover. Which we can use to approach this last outpost. There are several guards here, and it is a very large open area. So particularly with the sniper up on this rooftop, it is not easy to access and take care of. These rocks here provide significant cover for an approach from several different angles. But it's generally quite important to get into one of these buildings pretty quickly, because the buildings provide the cover needed to get closer at all. I'm gonna wait for that sniper to move and then make an approach from there. And at that point, I can walk through a couple of the buildings here, though since this is the last outpost, I'm not going to be able to go through everything, otherwise I would get shot at and or detected. So we'll just wait for this sniper to move around to the other end of the rooftop. Come on. Go on. Well, that wasn't the direction I expected him to go. Okay. We're gonna take a different approach. We will. Wow. So that can there was by the propane tank in the last area. That was a forceful explosion. Anyway. Because that sniper was intent on not cooperating, we'll just have to come around here. Work my way up here a little bit and into his domain. The other guards usually stay pretty disconnected from the sniper.
Don't just stand there. Go see what that was.
This isn't really a good place to be. You caught a glimpse of me. I could shoot him in the elbow, but that would be dubiously effective at best. Really, I just want to wait for him to move around a little bit so I'd have a better opening on him. And after taking care of him, we can deal with some of the others. Or, if the opportunity presents itself, just take care of that guy, because he's a little scary. Of course, that is going to tip off the sniper, should he see the dead guy. But we might... Well, it would be possible to get up there with him and take him down that way. But I think this seems like a time to test out one of those explosive arrows we got. That took care of him. Those explosive arrows come in handy. Now, one thing that I will admit was a bit of a gap in the design of this level. Is that this area is pretty much completely safe. Because the only way to access it is grapple points here and over here. So no enemy, none of the guards other than that sniper could possibly reach me.
Someone went on a rampage over here. Ew. Let's kill this guy so we can get on with our lives. I'll find the killer. And when I do, he'll beg for death.
So, we've just got this last guy left. And we've hit him at least once. I mean, he's definitely aware of us at this point. So we'll give it a minute. And take him out. And no alarm was triggered. so that's the gist of the level. There were a couple of buildings that we didn't get to walk through. Mostly just filled with more furniture, various little stories. Basically, these guards were some weird dudes. But, anyway, with that taken care of, I'd like to thank you guys for watching.